this extended Cambodian food marathon, you're gonna witness the extreme side of dining in Southeast Asia. Cambodia is a rapidly growing country, with more of its population heading to big cities each year. Yet once you travel into the countryside, you'll uncover generations-old foods and recipes you won't find anywhere else. In this video, I'm on a mission to discover the Cambodian foods that are pushing the boundaries of countryside cooking.
These are maggots. Are you actually eating the maggots yourself?
Yeah.
From hunting down,
Okay, I'm looking down into the hole. This is what nightmares are made out of.
then frying up hundreds of tarantulas,
Earlier, the tarantulas were looking quite scary. Now, much less intimidating.
to visiting Cambodia's exotic meat farms.
Oh my God, that is wild.
But first, something a bit more palatable. Cambodian street food, specifically a dish known as crab brain noodles in Phnom Penh's Central Market.
Do crabs have brains?
I think it's a literal translation.
Meet my food adventuring partner, Soria, a Phnom Penh native who dedicates her social media to showcasing Cambodian cuisine to the world.
Over here, she has a little bowl. That's not actually brains. I believe that would be the boiled up crab fat.
Fats, yes.
Ah.
yes.
While crab brain is the ticket-selling name, this bowl of noodles is full of surprises. First, the base layer, blanched bean sprouts and shredded morning glory. Then, the carbs, a handful of rice noodles. Now, a parade of proteins. 2 slices of steamed pork loaf, succulent roasted pork, a fish cake, and half a freaking pig toe. Next, a dollop of crab brain, followed by more morning glory, banana flour, and sespan flour. Finally, treasures hidden in the broth, blood cake, tofu, straw mushrooms, and okra. And all of this costs only $2.50.
I think we should try something from in the bowl before we get to the noodle.
Okay,
How
sure.
about that blood cake? That's a good blood cake. A bit solid and crumbly, lovely texture, and very salty and savory.
It's giving me tofu, but then the more you eat it, it's a little bit livery, I would say.
You say it's giving me tofu? Oh my God, you're so Gen Z. On the periphery here, she has all of her food just laid out in the open. You can look up here and see different sausages, beef balls, intestines, unlaid chicken eggs, a variety of different noodles. This is what I like about Southeast Asia. It's not even 8 a.m. and people are eating stuff like noodles.
Yes.
For this, what do you recommend? We mix it up and just take a bite?
Up and maybe a squeeze of lime.
A little bit of lime squeeze. Oh.
That's good.
That's a great flavor. I can't believe how much variety there is in here. There's like multiple different kinds of meat, sausage. There's a random slice of okra. I'm putting that back where I found it. How about those toes? Basically half of a hoof right here.
Cheers.
Sure. That's awesome. Pig foot in the morning. This is epic.
I think it's very good. It's like fatty, if you like that fatty collagen texture.
I am that fatty collagen texture.
That's why you look young. You don't look 40.
I'm technically 39.
Oh, sorry.
Soon we'll dig our chopsticks into Phnom Penh's legendary dry noodles.
Would you say this is one of the top 3 most popular noodles in Cambodia?
I would say top 1.
But first,
Right now we're in Central Market. Could you tell me a little bit about this place?
Central Market in Cambodia is known as Sat Khmer. It's basically a heritage because this market has been built during the colonial times in 1930s.
the Central Market was the biggest market in Asia at the time of its grand opening in 1937. Today, it remains a living monument in Phnom Penh with a striking 85-foot high dome with 4 sprawling wings filled with thousands of stalls and goods. Seafood, poultry, fresh, cooked, sweet, savory, whatever you crave, Central Market is the place to find it.
Let's talk about what's in front of us right now. This is Hut Diew.
In Vietnam, Cambodia's neighbor to the east, Hut Diew Nam Vang is a popular noodle dish that originated here in Cambodia, and it's known for its thin, chewy rice noodles.
This is called Kuih Tiêu Phnom Penh. This is a Phnom Penh Cambodian breakfast staple.
It starts with steamed pig stomach, a pork ball, shrimp, pork liver, intestines, wontons, noodles, and bean sprouts, all blanched and tossed in a bowl. Coriander and fried garlic join as flavor enhancers. You can opt for a traditional kuih tiev with broth or get it dry with the broth on the side.
First, I would recommend to put a little broth to loosen up the noodles.
All right, loosen up, guys. Just relax.
And then you want to put a little soy sauce. Then you can put this a little bit. This is black pepper. If you don't like sugar, then you don't have to put it.
I want sugar for breakfast.
And my favorite is this pickled chili. You eat it with every bite of your meat. I do a little squeeze of lime for myself.
Okay, at some point, do we eat the food?
So now we mix it all in.
Oh my gosh, the noodles look immaculate. They look perfect. So I'm gonna grab some noodles now.
Yes,
Cheers.
cheers. And then you take the chili and put it.
Oh, whoa. Insanely spicy and sour. When you bite it, man, you just get a gush of heat and extreme sourness. I feel it all the way from my mouth radiating into my stomach and maybe even my small intestine. So I've got some pork meatball. Give it a little bit of a dip in the fermented soybean sauce. Get a chili on there. Oh, that's really good. This fermented sauce, it's not peanuts, but it does provide a nutty flavor. Very savory, a nice deep nuttiness. But man, taking on these noodles in the dry form, it's just my favorite because they're not getting saturated in that broth. They keep a nice firm texture to them. And instead of soaking up the broth, they're soaking up the pepper and the sugar, the fermented soybean sauce, all that together. The only thing left to do is to cool it down with some broth. Clink. That is a yummy broth. Is that a pork bone broth?
Yes.
I live in Vietnam. It's not far from here. And you can see some of the overlap between the two countries. In the noodles, in the fresh herbs, in the different meat selection, and in the broth. The broth, they've taken so much time and care. It's so fatty and porky, maybe a little bit of MSG.
Always.
All the things that make life worth living.
Exactly.
If you're used to noodles and pig organs for breakfast, how about a more adventurous option? Soon, we'll be trying a porridge brimming with dozens of snails.
I want to back up though and ask a little bit more about this insane city. You know, years ago when I came here the first time, maybe 10 to 12 years ago, they called this the Wild West of the East.
As Cambodia's capital and biggest city, Phnom Penh has a population of over 2 million, nearly 10 times bigger than the next biggest city, Siem Reap. Locals come here in pursuit of opportunities, leaving the countryside in favor of the only major city that may offer them a new life.
This is our final dish in the market today. Right here we have a porridge with snails. What are your thoughts on snails?
I love snails. This is a pretty common ingredient.
So nobody here is squeamish about snails.
No.
Our porridge begins with bean sprouts, sawtooth coriander, shredded banana flowers, water lily stems, and flowers.
What does it taste like?
Pollen?
Water hyacinth and sespan flowers are two of the many edible flowers commonly found in Cambodian cuisine. The porridge purveyors add some white lead tree leaves, a generous heap of snails, and 2 ladlefuls of porridge with a few more snails on top.
I'm gonna start with just the porridge itself and then work my way up to the snails. Wow, I've been blown away. It's really good. It tastes like the porridge was made maybe with a chicken stock.
Yes.
It has a fattiness to it and then a ton of lemongrass.
We call it Kroeung, so it's a mixture of lemongrass, kaffir leaf, and different types of vegetables.
Kroeung, a spice paste that forms the base of many Khmer dishes. It's commonly made by finely chopping kaffir lime leaves, kolongo, turmeric, lemongrass, shallots, and garlic, then grinding them together using a heavy mortar and pestle. Later today, you'll see this potent paste slide its way into countless Khmer dishes.
I'm starting to think everything has kroeung. Like, do you have kroeung ice cream?
But first, those snails are calling my name.
That's so good.
I love it. It's a very comfort food.
This is like, it's winter, I've got a cold. I'm like,
Exactly.
babe, go out and get me some snail porridge, please. Those snails have such a nice texture to them. They're a little bit chewy, but not super chewy. It tastes like they've been braised or boiled for a while until they become a little bit more tender. Those are some of the best snails I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
This is $2. Most of the food in the market, I would say, is affordable. Why do you think it is that food prices are so cheap here in Cambodia?
Well, I think it's more affordable because the ingredients are already easily found. You know, it's all local ingredients.
Cambodia offers abundant and diverse sources of food. Tropical fruits like durian, mangoes, bananas, and coconuts. Aromatic herbs like those we saw piled into our kroeung. In regards to protein, there's the typical poultry, beef, and pork. But you can also find insects and sometimes even some grilled rats.
Part of our focus today is the impressive range of prices that you can find in Phnom Penh when it comes to street food. By the end of today, we're gonna be going to a restaurant that has a menu item that costs $330.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's insane, especially in a country where the average yearly salary is less than $1,500. That's basically 2 to 3 months of somebody's income. Is that something that people in Cambodia would ever be able to afford?
The answer is waiting for us at a restaurant known as Majas, with the most famous chef in Cambodia and his special roasted pork recipe. But first, Cambodia's controversial national dish known as AMOK.
When we talk about AMOK, we often refer to fish AMOK, a thick curry being steamed in the banana leaf with cream and lemongrass paste.
Celebrity chef Nak is known for venturing across Cambodia in search of traditional recipes, bringing them to the international spotlight through 2 award-winning cookbooks. Right now, we're at a local eatery about to make AMOK. The recipe starts with familiar Kroeung ingredients: lemongrass, garlic, shallots, turmeric, wild ginger, galangal, and kaffir lime leaf, joined by coconut milk and water, all swirling in a blender.
Some people argue that this is or that it isn't the national dish of Cambodia. Would you say it's a national dish?
Not yet.
AMOK is controversial because it was never actually officially voted as the country's national dish. Rather, it seems the influence of travelers' taste for this unique delight pushed AMOK to this position.
Deciding on what should be our national dish, I think it's still in the progress. Because you know why? It is so difficult because there are so many and so different and so diverse too.
The chef cracks 2 eggs in a tray, beats them, and pours in the flavor-packed smoothie. He enriches it with sugar, chicken bouillon powder, fish sauce, fish meat, and more coconut milk. Next, the cooking vessels. Square banana leaves are pinched into little bowls with toothpicks. The chef lays down the foundation with julienne grape morinda leaves, and he fills each bowl with the prepared mixture.
Why do travelers coming to Cambodia think the national dish of Cambodia is AMOK?
Because it has all the components that make Cambodian food very different to others. The fish, especially freshwater fish, provide a lot of proteins to Cambodian in general for many years. And then the coconut cream and the presentation steaming in the banana leaf is also something that culturally we do.
The steaming hot AMOK cups receive a final touch with even more coconut milk, a shot of palm oil, julienne kaffir lime leaf, and bell pepper. Time to dig in.
What we best to do is to go all the way to the bottom, and what I expect to see is the leaves at the bottom.
Oh, yes.
We're supposed to taste the lemongrass paste, but also the sweetness from the coconut cream.
Cheers. Oh my God, I am blown away. Everything you said, it's so accurate. It is so fragrant. I just love the aromatics. In order to get food to taste good in the US, 90% of the time they add butter, mayonnaise, or cheese. Something that has a lot of calories. And this is so fragrant, so aromatic. You just taste it all the way up to the top of your head with those amazing herbs inside. I love it.
Let's try with the rice.
All right, let's try with the rice.
The coconut cream, it's so creamy, it's making that fish so soft and tender. And then even just those thin strands of kaffir lime leaf offer a different zesty freshness on top. That's interesting because they're using very powerful flavors here, but they're all working together, like the Avengers.
This is what we call harmonies of flavors. And this is one of the biggest components when it comes to Cambodian cuisine.
The foundation of Cambodian cuisine is built on the Khmer's 2,000-year-old culinary heritage, which heavily relies on rice, freshwater fish, coconut milk, fresh herbs, and spices. Over centuries, Cambodia has assimilated dry spices, curry, and chili pepper introduced by Indian and Portuguese traders, while pastry and fine dining elements were learned from French colonizers.
Certain countries have done a great job marketing themselves. Thailand has pad thai or tom yum. Vietnam has the banh mi or the pho. So what separates Cambodian food from the surrounding countries?
If it's a technical answer, I would say Kroeung is unique to us.
So you know, our neighboring country been using almost the same ingredients, but not necessarily all ingredients that we have in Kroeung. Go ahead, enjoy.
Good one.
But we also have food really so much based on the regional, seasonal, and people cook a lot from the memories. In a family, our parents might teach us the same ways of cooking, but not necessarily that the siblings produce the same dishes. That's the differences help me to would love to explore more.
Well, listen, I finished my AMOK cup. How's your looking there?
I'll pack it home.
Oh, okay.
No, you were cheating. You ask us questions and you keep eating.
Oh yeah, that's why I love this show. I get to interview and then just eat the whole time. From here, we're going to one of the most expensive dishes that we could find in Cambodia.
Okay.
Because we're going to be trying a pig that's roasted whole that costs $330.
The high-end restaurant Malice celebrates Cambodian traditional cuisine by using solely fresh, organic ingredients with no chemical seasonings or marinades, which means, for better or worse, no MSG. The captain here, culinary author, hospitality entrepreneur, and multi-international award winner, Chef Lu Mang.
Hello,
Put her there.
how are you?
I'm very happy to be here. I'm very good. I gotta say, initial commentary. This is perhaps the most compact rotisserie pig I've ever seen in my life. It's very small. But my wife always says, good Good things come in small packages. Why does she say that?
Prior to my arrival, the pig was marinated with soy sauce, chicken powder, sugar, and black pepper. Then it was slowly roasted for the last 3 hours.
I'm curious about the size. Is it a suckling pig?
Yes, we call it a milky pig. It's about 7.5 months. The reason for that size is because the best part of it is the skin.
I know what you're talking about.
Not only did this piglet only ever drink mother's milk, but its mother only ever ate high-quality organic plants like banana trees and potato leaves. The result? Exceptional meat quality that needs minimal preparation to shine.
So we've gone on to the next step here. You're putting on a sauce.
Yeah, it's a Kroeung to make it more thick. We can continue layer and layer to make the caramel.
Oh my God, this sounds amazing.
While the piggy continues to roast and baste with layers of Kroeung seasoning, Chef Lim is whipping up a food that could compete for Cambodia's national dish. It's nicknamed Cambodian ratatouille, but the locals know it as
SAMLOR.
SAMLOR KORKO.
In the old days, we call SAMLOR Palai Maroi Muk.
It's a good idea to shorten it.
In a pot, Chef Lim stir-fries some pork ribs with oil and Kroeung. Then he adds a splash of fish sauce, a hint of fermented fish, and palm sugar. Next, long beans, pumpkin, young jackfruit, papaya, and Cambodian eggplant join the party. Lumang lets it boil until it softens before adding even more ingredients. Chunks of fish meat, moringa leaves, and vegetable hummingbirds, followed by chicken powder. Finally, coconut milk enriches the whole pot.
Oh my gosh, it is very gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna start with the fish. A very different experience from the AMOK, of course.
Yeah.
Not creamy, but just a nice, thick, savory stew. The fish is very delicate, very dainty. I love it. I'm gonna try the pork rib now. Oh, I love that texture. A little soft, but a little firm. It's got enough bite to it. You can peel it off of the bone. I love how aromatic and fresh and just powerful the flavors are so far in everything I've eaten today.
That's the Kroeung.
I'm starting to think everything has Kroeung. Like, do you have Kroeung ice cream?
Coming too.
Maybe next time. I'm curious about your perspective on how the traditions of food in Cambodia have changed throughout the last 100 years, especially through the Khmer Rouge.
The Khmer Rouge regime took over Cambodia 4 years immediately after the Vietnam War. With the aim of establishing a classless society, they implemented extreme policies, including the abolition of private property and urbanization. They destroyed religious sites, burned books, historical artifacts, and led the largest genocide in Cambodia's history.
The history of the food started from the Khmer Emperor. Traditionally, it's really simple. The Kroeung is a big influence by Indian. During the French cuisine days, the gourmet part coming in. So this is continually grow up to the Khmer Rouge time. But during that, a lot of recipes been developed without a choice. No more luxury products, so they cook from the courtyard. So that's some of their recipe. It's not about loss, it's also created.
I think that's a brilliant perspective. A perspective I've not heard before. Yeah, it's not about loss, it's just that through time, no matter the time period, changes have taken place. There have been influences for various reasons, and the cuisine has evolved and changed into what it needed to be at that time.
Yes, you are eating for surviving, and today we are eating to enjoy.
Amazing, thank you for your answers. But right now,
here we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm excited. So he's going at the neck, and he told me previously, step one is to just remove the skin and just go for the skin. Ooh, that's not just skin, that's skin, that's meat, that's everything. There's not much left underneath that. Cheers.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's like butter. This is some of the thinnest pig skin I've ever had. It is so thin, absolutely thin and crispy. It disintegrates in your mouth. And then it's just like a pork wagyu underneath.
Yes, you're right.
This perfect blend of protein and fat melting on my tongue. If I die tonight, I'll be like, eh. At least I ended on a high note. Oh, I really can't believe it. The meat's almost sweet, naturally sweet. I gotta say, top 3, maybe top 2 pigs in my life, maybe top 1. It's a real good pig.
You know, usually pork, they have that porky aftertaste, but this one is just like smooth.
It melts in your mouth.
One time I had a suckling pig in Guangzhou and it looked amazing. And then I took a bite and I was like, thanks. One bite's good. It was just so gamey. But this is just something truly magnificent. So how much of it is its mother and its good Cambodian DNA and its pure diet of milk, and how much of it is you?
Well, the key ingredient, 80% are important. So we're finishing it nicely because if we take a few hours like this to roast, it's really important for us to do.
You need to take your time with it. This is a rib. I mean, come on. This is wild. I can't believe it. I'm curious, how is it possible to have a $330 entree in Cambodia?
The whole pig, yes, $380 over dollars. But if you're going to share with 10 people, so it's like your medium and average price for a dinners. The important is they want to be surprised or their family or their guests. They will offer things like that for a memory. It's like instead of a big birthday cake, and this is the birthday cake.
Right.
Super cool.
Since the last time I was here, it just seems like Cambodia and Phnom Penh especially is just growing like crazy. There's high rises sprouting up everywhere. It just seems like there's been a lot of economic growth. It seems like this would be part of that. From the time that you've been involved with Majas, have you seen more premium or high-end restaurants popping up in Phnom Penh?
It is more and more, especially the last few years. The people are looking for that type of dining experience. It's not only the food, it's the whole ambient, the story.
We already passed the survival stage. People are looking into not only eat to fulfill our stomachs, but the experience, the memories, but also the learning the culture. That's why we create an experience that people can learn about Cambodia through the food angle.
Beautiful.
Next, we're trying every bug dish we can find
Oh my God, this is the biggest cricket I've ever seen.
and hunt down and cook up venomous tarantulas for ourselves. To uncover the story behind this tradition of extreme eating, we drove an hour away from Cambodia's capital to a town named SKUON, known locally as Spiderville. This place is infamous for its distinctive practice of consuming tarantulas. But first, we're warming up to Cambodia's love for insects with a beef dish that includes a healthy heaping portion of ants.
This is my favorite meal.
You've had ants before.
Hell yeah, I also used to get the ants before.
Meet
Yeah.
Srey Mob, an aspiring local filmmaker who will stay by my side no matter how scary this journey gets.
Did you buy these ants or did you collect them yourself?
She go find it herself.
Are you kidding me? You picked these ants yourself?
She said her husband.
Or else, oh, now it's adding up.
These are the red tree ants that Jaw has for us today.
A long time ago in Myanmar, I went deep into the countryside. We got these ant colonies from the trees, then they would shake it up over hot steel. It would kind of burn the ants' legs off and then they would fall into a basket. But how were the ants caught here?
They have the bucket with some water. You have to shake them so that it fall into the basket.
That's millions of deaths. One cow, 1 million ants right here for this meal.
How do you know it? One cow.
That's a good point. It could be 1 million cows.
Let's just say 2.
Okay.
To prepare this traditional dish, she starts by mincing garlic, then frying in a pan of hot oil until it's golden brown. The beef is cut into bite-sized pieces and added to the sizzling garlic.
Do you cook with ants often?
Yes, she often cooked the ants and she said that it's delicious.
Next, oyster sauce, MSG, chicken bouillon powder, and a pinch of sugar are mixed in, setting the stage for our protagonist, or should I say, ant-tagonist. Anyways, I'm talking about the ants.
You've had this type of dish before?
Yeah, it's so many things in your mouth, almost like the whole ants colony in your mouth, like you eat the whole family and the whole culture.
I love it. Let's eat a whole ant culture. Now, one thing you have to know about Cambodian food in general is that every dish is accompanied by rice. Now, I want that full hit. Oh my God, that is so many ants.
And eggs.
Cambodian caviar. Wow, I've never had anything like that. To me, when it comes to eating insects, ants are like a level 1 type of food.
Level 1.
They're not really challenging. You don't have to psych yourself up to eat it. It's just ants.
It's just many families of ants, nothing special, right?
You know, the live ants are very sour. Something between a green apple and a lime. Here, they've retained some of that sourness, but they also have a very earthy flavor. I gotta say, it is a distinct, peculiar taste. It's pretty wild.
Ants represent just one of the many types of insects Ja has been dealing in as a bug seller for over 2 decades.
She done this since she was like 5 years So
Her daily routine includes purchasing insects from local insect hunters and gatherers, then preparing them to be sold at a nearby market.
her mom used to sell this stuff, so when she got married, she started this business as well.
There are crickets, silkworms, and water bugs, but the item with the highest demand, the tarantulas.
I myself, I've seen tarantulas before for sale. I've seen them at markets, but I've never actually seen somebody hunt them down. And that's what we're gonna be doing today. Except that, if they bite you, especially in the wrong place, you could die.
I mean, I would like to encourage you to give it a shot.
I will absolutely, 60% chance,
60%.
go hunting for tarantulas.
Before risking my life to hunt these formidable spiders, I want to learn more about the local fascination with insects. So I'm jumping into Ja's kitchen to witness her daily routine, processing and preparing almost 100 pounds of insects that will soon be sold at a nearby market.
Welcome to the bug kitchen.
Crickets, silkworms, and water bugs. All of her bugs are prepared the same way, involving crunchy powder, MSG, chicken bouillon, and sugar.
Right here we have our water bug. Basically the biggest edible bug that you're gonna find in Southeast Asia, aside from the tarantula. She takes a huge batch and she puts them into the oil. That is some fiery hot oil. One thing you might not know about water bugs is they can actually bite you or give you a nasty sting. Luckily, their stinging days are long over. But later at the market, I'm gonna be giving it a try.
Welcome to the bug market, which, as it turns out, is less of a market and more of a bus stop, where travelers can choose from an array of unusual items for their road trip.
This is silkworm. It's the worm that produce silk.
Wow, you're like a walking Wikipedia. Look at you. Looks like it's been cooked already. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Cheers. Interesting. Oh, it's like a crunchy, leathery outside coat, and on the inside, it's like a green pea paste.
This one is my favorite.
Really?
It reminded of my grandma, really. She loved this stuff. Every time she travel, she always stop and buy everything. I used to ask her before when I was young how it's like in Pol Pot regime, the Khmer rule. She said that back then, if you can find cricket or any kind of insect, you eat them.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to eat.
Consuming insects in Cambodia was common in the late 70s, during the Khmer Rouge's control, when many people fled cities to the countryside.
This is the biggest cricket I've ever seen.
Widespread famine forced Cambodians to seek sustenance in the least likely of places.
Sweet, salty,
Crispy too.
and very crispy.
Though the hardest times have passed, the practice of indulging in these little six-legged delicacies hasn't faded.
Why do you think people are still eating bugs today when they don't have to? You personally.
Well, personally, I think it's all about nostalgic feeling of what you used to eat and how important of it to your life right now. Of course, you grow older, you have more options, but your mind keeps thinking, oh, that exotic, I remember it, I want to eat it again.
This is a water bug. It is like layers and layers of wings and keratin. Is there a proper way to eat this where I'll enjoy it?
Take out the wing,
Sure, I'll take whatever I can take out, I will take out.
the hard part of the head.
So far, we're removing almost everything. It's fantastic.
Now let's put in our mouth.
All right.
Cheers. Like alcohol smell, kind of
Like a liqueur.
liquor.
To me, it has a very strong, perfumey, kind of apple-y taste to it, like fruit. The texture, it's like 10 layers of rice paper.
It's good for your teeth.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
You're still chewing.
Gone.
Nailed it.
Alas, it's time to hunt these venomous arachnids. Despite this place's ordinary appearance, one wrong step here could lead to serious trouble.
A lot of people don't really know where tarantulas hang out. At least I didn't. I thought maybe they hung out in
Top of the tree.
yeah, maybe in the top of a tree or the corner of an attic. But we have just come upon a tarantula hole that's about 1.5 inches wide.
To extract the spiders, we'll need the help of a professional hunter. That's where Miss Arey comes in.
When it go in, it normally use the web to close the hole. Yes.
Should we take a look? Step 1, she uses a shovel to dig near the hole. She's got to be careful though, because the last thing you want to do is destroy the tarantula's soft, fleshy body. If somebody gets bitten in the wrong spot, what's the worst that can happen? It's possible to die, right?
Yes, there is the dying case from it.
Have you ever been bit?
Of course, you get bitten before.
Okay, sorry.
However, when you get bitten, normally in their belief, spit on it. Yeah, with prayer.
And now, how deep are they usually?
She said it depends. Sometimes it can go very deep. Sometimes it's not too deep.
Cool, so anywhere from 6 inches to 18 feet.
Oh, there's
Is there one in there?
right now. Oh, she might have killed them already.
Oh my God, unfortunately, it was struck by the shovel and it looks like it's deceased. Do we count this as a W?
When it's dead, you cannot sell it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fortunately, there's another tarantula tunnel a few steps away.
She's coming with the shovel, digging around the periphery of the hole. Okay, she's going in with the stick right now, and she's making a sound. The sound is used to coax them out.
Golden. It's coming.
Oh, it just crawled out of the hole. It's right here, just sitting here. What's it doing?
It's the baby hatch babies.
Oh, it's hatched babies?
Hatch baby, there are at least 400-500 baby in there, as you can see.
Okay, I'm looking down into the hole. This is what nightmares are made out of. This is insane. What do you do in this case? Do you try to collect the babies?
Normally they would not dig them down this month. It's the hatching season, so maybe another month from now.
Since this tarantula is currently watching over her 400 newly hatched spider babies, Miss Arey decides to leave it undisturbed. After a bit of digging, poking, and coaxing the spider out using her tribal spider call, Miss Arey successfully locates another tarantula. This time, the spider is found clutching an egg sac.
Now that she's caught it, she grabs it, she picks it up from the sides. She's gonna use this knife here to cut the fangs. So with the fangs removed, this goes from a deadly tarantula to just a spider. Can't hurt us now. The other great news is that we've acquired this, a tarantula egg sac. Why is that great news? Well, because they like to eat these raw. It's fantastic.
I've been told these sacs contain unhatched spider eggs, and they're considered an absolute delicacy that money cannot buy. However, the true nature of their contents will soon be revealed.
Hunting for today is complete, and soon we will follow the journey of these tarantulas to a wholesaler. But first, we're headed to her house where we're gonna be trying out some tarantula egg sac. That is a sentence I thought I would never utter in my life. Ma'am, we just came back to your home. We're about to enjoy some nice tarantula eggs.
Level 9.
I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna stretch it open. Oh my God! I've never seen anything like this. It's so many baby tarantulas.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Where are the eggs?
This one hatched already, but you can still eat them.
I wanna see her, please. Okay, she's grabbed one. It's a little baby tarantula. It's only been born mere moments ago, hatching from its giant egg sac.
She said she don't want to eat the...
I knew it. I think you were trying to trick me. I think I'm on a prank show.
She just doesn't like the taste of the raw one.
Thank goodness. You know, my whole rule is if locals eat it, I do. And if they don't, why would I? Let's see what's behind door number 2.
Eating freshly hatched baby spiders.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's just not on the menu for our village hunter.
Okay, that's gross. Door number 3, the final egg sac.
Instead, to ensure they don't go to waste,
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
these guys will make a protein-rich snack for her chickens.
I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit conflicted. On one hand, I was interested in the fact that you could eat tarantula eggs. It seemed like something that people rarely have the opportunity to try. On the other hand, I'm partially relieved that I don't have to eat anything at the moment. But we are instead gonna be eating the biggest tarantulas that we can find. We caught a lot today, and you and I are gonna eat them.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. We have finished the hunt. The tarantulas we caught on our hunt we've brought here, but you may notice there are a lot more tarantulas here. That's because this woman is a tarantula wholesaler. This is her gig. Every day she's bringing in tons of tarantulas, she's cooking them and sending them out. In fact, just moments ago, a man pulled up on a motorbike and he brought this box. Is it Amazon Prime? No. Oh my God.
Each tarantula here fetches a price ranging from 20 to 75 cents depending on the size. Given that Ms. Soy Lone sells thousands of these spiders daily, she's running a pretty substantial business.
What happened?
They beat her.
She got bit? How? As you saw while we were hunting, you're supposed to take the fangs off. She said some of the hunters forget. It just turns out someone could still be bit by this, namely her. Or me earlier when I piled about 50 tarantulas on myself. I thought I was safe. But she's been handling spiders for so long, she told us earlier that these days when she gets bit, she just gets a little bit of a bump, no big deal. From here, she's gonna kill it. Oh, so she gives it a good squeeze, and that is it. That is how you 86 a tarantula. It's very quick, efficient, wild, and slightly bizarre to see. So here's the fun part of the show where I do what the locals do. No.
After washing the spiders, it's time for some spider seasoning. They're coated with a mix of crunchy and creamy powders, MSG, chicken bouillon, a bit of food coloring, and sugar. To prevent their legs from breaking during the frying process, she carefully places them on a dried leaf, setting the stage for the final cooking step.
And now she's putting them in the hot oil. I've never seen anything like this. I gotta say, earlier the tarantulas were looking a lot more intimidating, quite scary. Now, much less intimidating. From here, we're gonna fry these tarantulas for 10 minutes, and this is gonna be our final course of the day. But first, an appetizer, cricket soup.
In a pot of boiling water, she begins by adding fermented fish paste, a staple condiment in local cooking. She follows this with the giant crickets, along with MSG, sugar, and a dash of salt. Next, cucumbers, mushrooms, and peppers are added, along with a generous helping of local herbs. Then everything simmers together until it's perfectly cooked or, cooked as perfectly as crickets can be. Time to eat.
If a fly lands on the dish, does it become a garnish?
You know, more protein maybe.
It's one thing to eat fried crickets, they're just crunchy. These are stewed crickets. It's a lovely broth.
It's not crispy though.
Very papery. It's hard to chew through. It's like eating fingernails.
I'm not sure about the cricket. It's a bit chewy.
That being said, it's a lovely dish.
Now she asked you to try the tarantula.
Level 10.
She did really handle these with care. Mine still has 8 legs. It's not been busted apart. Please, would you like to share with us? All right, now. Okay, I was gonna ask, but she's showing us. Let's just go for it. She starts with the legs. That's actually pretty good. That's like candy. The legs are very crispy. Okay, did she just eat the head? Oh boy, why do I keep looking inside? Why did I bite it in half? I gotta say, mentally, a bit of a hurdle, slightly challenging. But the flavors, this is the best tarantula I've ever had in my life.
Better than a lot of places that I went to.
It's fresh, it's crunchy, it's savory, it's sweet. I can't believe it, I kinda like it. Okay, let's flash back to me 7 years ago trying to eat a tarantula. Yeah, it was brutal, it was not that good. I was suffering. I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. This is me now having my last bite. And that was the butt bite. I would eat another one.
Nice.
Hypothetically, on a different timeline. No, I'll eat another one. Here's what I've just realized. The spiders that foreigners get, tourists don't have a standard of how a tarantula should taste. So whatever they get served, they just accept it. And they go, ew, wow, it's a tarantula. They make their Instagram video, they get out of there. But this is for the local person with a refined palate. The legs are the best part. It tastes like there's a candy coating on the outside. They're very crispy. I gotta say, I'm very impressed. Well done. I know tarantulas are a timeless food. They're a food that go way back, and it's part of subsistence living. You know, it's survival food. These days, it's survival food that can still taste quite good as these do. But my question is, 50 years in the future, are people still gonna be eating this kind of food in Cambodia?
We have been eating this for a very long time. We will continue to eat it. However, it's getting less and less the number of it because it become popular for Cambodians to eat these things. So people keep looking for it further and further and further away. She doesn't know when it will be all gone.
Wow, this is something you never really hear about because you hear about things like overfishing. They don't have time to replenish. There's too much demand. But she's saying here, the demand for insects is so high that one day it may be the case that there are no more insects.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't apply to just tarantulas. Natural caught animals are getting harder and harder.
It seems that a dark day may be upon us in the future where we no longer are able to freely and easily eat tarantulas. But what we can do is appreciate today and appreciate that right now we may live in the golden era of insect eating. So we should appreciate it while it lasts.
Okay.
Cheers. These are big bowls of rotten fish. It's called Prahok, and folks in Cambodia absolutely love it.
I'm on a mission to see how this controversial food is made, and I'll be trying a level 10 Prahok. So rotten, it's covered in maggots. But first, a meal made of fish that are not so rotten.
It's called Plia Trai Chang. It's basically Cambodian ceviche.
Ceviche?
Yes.
Last time I had ceviche, well, I did lose a lot of weight, but I was pretty sick too. I was in Peru. That was sidewalk made. This is homemade. I'm looking at this lady. I trust her. Don't tell her anything of what I just said.
Fresh fish, crunchy veggies, peanuts, and a ton of lime juice. These are the foundational elements of today's meals.
Where do these fish come from?
Ceviche usually utilizes ocean fish to dodge health scares like parasites and bacteria.
This is actually right from the Tulay Sap.
Instead, we'll be using freshwater fish from a nearby lake. To ensure the safety of those dining, preparation is crucial. First, hitting slices of raw fish with lime juice to kill lingering bacteria. Then, there's the flavoring. Add chicken bouillon, sugar, lemongrass, fried garlic, shallots, basil, MSG, roasted peanuts, bean sprouts, long beans, and fish sauce. Mix it all up and give it a little bit of a squish.
Could you show me how to eat it?
Right now, we're joining a meal with Chhum Krern and Sang Kong.
Ah, okay. I saw the rice. I thought there might be more steps. I can pull that off. Cheers.
Joining today's daring food adventure, Cambodian-American Savvy, a culinary explorer at heart, sharing Khmer cuisine with the world. But more on him later.
Oh yeah, I'm instantly in love. The fish is firm. It's got some nice bite to it. Super fresh coriander. There's chilies. There's nuts. There's fried garlic. This is outstanding.
It's got a nice bit of sourness to it. A little spicy kick.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of different textures and flavors going on here.
It is a texture sensation. How do people feel about eating the raw lake fish though?
Here, they don't worry as much because they have flora or gut bacteria that is a lot more...
Robust?
Yes, a lot more robust.
I'm working on my gut bacteria as well. This, for breakfast, 10 out of 10. The view's not too bad either. I believe we're on approximately the 3rd floor. The houses are very high up, maybe 30, 35 feet. Right now it's dry season. It's not rained in a long time, and the water levels are very low. But when it's the rainy season, how wild does it get here? How high is the water getting?
It can get really deep and the water flows very high. He said it actually comes up about 12 feet.
We're at Kampong PHLUK, where thousands of residents call these towering stilt houses home.
Which season do you prefer, the dry season or the rainy season?
He said it's better for them to make money during the rainy season. You know, you have more boats, fish, and everything is still a lot more abundant.
And I'm curious, of the local diet, how much of it is fish?
So because they live on the water, most of their diet is fish. Meats and other things like that are a lot more expensive.
Their transportation, their houses, their food. This is a culture that lives and dies by the ebb and flow of the nearby lake Tonle Sap, Cambodia's largest freshwater lake.
Our main mission today is to learn more about this food called Prahok. It's a rotten fish dish, and I assume that making it into this rotten form, there must be some way to preserve it long term.
Exactly.
But preserving it comes at a cost, and the cost is that this is a very smelly, putrid, pungent fish. Some people can't even bear or stand the smell.
You think it stinks. We say it's chunchain, which means like it's a stinky good, like the way stinky cheese might smell good.
I will be the one to be the judge of that soon. But not only is the lake offering abundant life like fish, I saw in the corner you had a big container, a giant dish of what looked like snakes.
They're known as black rat snakes. Basically, they are water snakes. It's a regular part of the diet around here.
Found nowhere else in the world, this species is a true gem.
You want to grab one?
Residing exclusively as part of the Tonle Sap ecosystem.
You gotta choke up a little bit. Try to get it behind the head.
Okay. Ow, ow, ow.
Did he get you?
It bit me.
Get it right behind the head. You gotta choke up.
Ow!
Yeah.
Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It drew blood.
It drew blood.
These water snakes lack venom glands and fangs. So if they happen to bite you, take comfort in knowing you won't die. At least you probably won't. In fact, these snakes are generally docile and tend to avoid confrontations with humans.
Now, they're joining forces.
So if you do get bit, consider yourself very, very unlucky.
Right now, look, they're holding hands or something.
They're being friendly to each other.
Soon this violent snake and his family will join our final meal.
That's the one that bit me.
Who's biting who, bitch?
That's right.
But right now, I'm focused on the Prahok. A mere hour's drive away from our current whereabouts lies the pulsating nucleus of local life, the market. If you can't spot this pungent paste with your eyes, you might want to try following your nose. To the unsophisticated and uninitiated, the smell is rancid and repulsive. The best part, it's readily available just like this.
It's not fresh at all.
Well, Prahok is basically fermented fish. It's salted and kept inside of wooden barrels, anywhere from a couple months to all the way to 3 years.
That's wild. We're not talking wine or kimchi here. We're talking about fish protein.
It's the beloved Cambodian condiment used to elevate every dish it touches.
Ma'am, you are a dealer of rotten fish meat, to put it more bluntly. Can you introduce to me the different types of prahok you have? First of all, starting with this one.
It's Prahok Trei Kapleeng. It's made with a local fish called kapleeng, and it's been aged for about a year. This one is made with a fish called Trei Rah, which I believe is snakehead fish. It's been aged about 8 months. It's a little bit more pungent.
To be fair, they're all pretty pungent. This appears to be the most smooth. You could almost just scoop it up like some vanilla ice cream.
This is the same fish. It's aged about 5 months. It's ground a little bit more fine, so it can be used in dipping sauces.
Interesting. I'm getting notes of burnt tire, rotten fish, toenail fungus.
The variety of prahok and its price hinge on factors like its ingredients.
The rarer the fish, the more expensive the prahok.
Exactly.
I bet the dolphin prahok is crazy. Super rare. Super rare.
There's also an array of preparation methods, with some truly unexpected twists, offering an extra protein punch, guaranteed to challenge even the bravest of bellies.
This is how she knows that this is the good stuff.
Right now, I'm warming up with a prahok that's been fermenting for an entire year.
You know what's happening next?
I bet we're gonna try some prahok.
Raw.
Yeah, I've eaten raw prahok.
You're a brave man.
I didn't mean like that raw. I thought you meant like in like a sauce.
No.
We're gonna eat it straight out.
Yes.
No.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, so the salt is very prevalent. So much, in fact, I'm chewing on crispy salt crystals.
Yeah, you can feel the salt granules in there. It's got an interesting texture. It's kind of mushy, obviously.
Very much like a paste.
The fish flavor is very strong.
It is very strong. I've had many a cheese board in my life. It is uncanny how similar that is to blue cheese. Even in the texture a bit. Sometimes blue cheese can be kind of crystallized and have little crunchy bits in it. I wouldn't mind a little bit of wine to go with it.
Right.
Do you have any wine? Maybe a Chardonnay? That was intense, but this is still level 1 of prahok. By the end of today, you and I are going to be trying a prahok that's so old, rancid, and rotten. It's the pride of this one village woman who's making prahok at her own house, and what I'm told is that it's swimming in maggots.
Oh my gosh.
I think we eat both. From the market, we have returned back to the riverside village to this woman's home. This lady is the queen of prahok. In fact, she has made the most extreme prahok that you will find anywhere in Cambodia. Does she eat the maggots? How do the maggots help with the recipe? Do they make it taste better? I have all these questions and more, but first, let's start at the beginning of the prahok making process. Right here we have some moonlight gourami. These women make quick work of these fish, filleting their bodies, keeping the meat and discarding the bones.
After deboning, batches of fish are thoroughly mixed with salt, ensuring every piece gets a good coating. The salt acts like a natural preservative, keeping things safe and making the flavor pop. Next, the fish bask under the sun's rays for a full 48 hours. This crucial step is what sets her prahok recipe apart from the rest, giving it a uniquely firm texture and an unmatched depth of flavor. At least that's what she would say. After sun drying, the fish is smashed and put into a jar or barrel, where the fermentation process continues. There, it's left to age anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 years, transforming into a local culinary treasure, or what may be a not-so-nummy nightmare for me.
These are maggots. Is this part of the aging process?
She says that you know it's natural when there are maggots on it, because the ones that don't have maggots, they mix some kind of chemicals in it.
Wow, that is a wild point of view. So right here, I mean, this is solid. It doesn't even resemble anything we saw at the market earlier, though.
She says that she doesn't make her prahok like that. That's mushy. She just knows the way she makes it. It's much more desirable.
This looks good. There's one small problem. I don't see any maggots in it. Oh my God, dude, there's hundreds of maggots. I am unsheathing the most maggot-infested prahok that there is here on this property.
Oh, those are some big maggots.
Come and take a look at this, Savvy. Wow. They literally have burrowed and made little holes into the prahok. So when you look at this and you see the maggots and they're crawling around the top of the prahok, what does it make you think? What does it make you feel?
She says that it doesn't disgust her at all. As a matter of fact, we that come from outside, we see this and we're disgusted by it, but it's totally opposite for her.
Are you actually eating the maggots yourself?
Yeah, she basically, you pick them up. You don't wash it because if you wash it, it removes some of the flavor, so you just manually pick out the maggots.
Manually?
Yes.
I think you need tweezers. This is level 10 prahok, no doubt.
Yes.
I think we'd give it a try. I don't think we have to eat a maggot, but we can say that we've eaten maggot-infested prahok. Hi, quick question. Is it safe for me to eat a maggot or two? It's my doctor.
Eating a maggot or two isn't generally harmful if they're ingested accidentally. However, it's important to consider the source of the maggots. If they come from unsanitary conditions, there's a risk of bacterial or parasitic infection. So while a maggot or two might not hurt you, it's crucial to consider these factors for safety.
Great. So what I learned from that is if we eat it accidentally, it's fine. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, it's much more like a gluey paste.
Exactly.
What?
Hold on. Much more.
Your doctor's so smart.
Wow, it really has a rancid taste to it.
Yeah, this one tastes much more pungent because this is made from the fish bones.
Yeah, I taste bones. It tastes like the guts of a fish that have been rotten, that are very salty. I can kind of see why the maggots are into it. If I was a flyer or a maggot, I'd be like,
ooh, jackpot.
That was really intimidating. Officially, now we can both say we've had maggot-infested food. Not many people can say that.
From here, her prahok is typically distributed to markets where she can earn about $2 per pound. But at home, she turns this pungent ingredient into some treasured family recipes.
Right here we have that beautiful, savory, rotten fish that everyone loves so much, made into kind of a patty.
Yes.
With a little bit of pork.
This is prahok ang. Here's how it's made. Start with a generous portion of prahok and pair it with pork, chopped together with lemongrass, golongo, garlic, chilies, sugar, chicken bouillon, and MSG. Then chop it down to a gooey fine paste.
Is this a common preparation for prahok?
Well, this one has pork in it. That's not typical. Only people that are a little bit more wealthy, they can afford the pork.
Nice.
But typically it's...
Showing off a little bit today.
That's right.
Smear that rotten fish goo inside of banana leaves and grill it over blazing hot charcoal, allowing the flavors to meld and intensify.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God, okay, nope, I take it back. Give me some rice. Holy shit.
Oh, it's very powerful.
Oh, I thought it would be more like a meaty experience. It's pure salt.
You only need a little tiny bit.
We overdosed. So I'm gonna take a little bit of it and just kind of smear it on the rice, and then maybe even some veggies on there too. Little bean, little carrot. Cheers. Bingo. That I like. So I guess the mistake I made when I took that bite was thinking that this is going to be my protein source for the day. Clearly not. This is almost like a flavoring agent when it comes to trying to create that very deep, savory umami flavor.
Exactly. Whenever I eat food that have that umami, that's when it hits the spot. It's comforting to me.
Exactly. So I want to get a little bit more into your story. You were born in Cambodia, but then you moved to the USA.
Yes. During the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot times, my dad was in the opposition's army and he was in danger of being killed. My parents, they fled to the Cambodian-Thai border at Phoi Phet and Rang Phet. I was actually born in a refugee camp on the Thai side. As far as these eyes can see. I was only about a year old when I landed in the US, and I lived there for most of my life.
What inspired you to come back to Cambodia?
For a long time, my parents suppressed the memories of here. I didn't know anything about my past, because by then I became really whitewashed. And back in 2016, I was just curious. I came with my parents to Cambodia, and when I got here, I just felt at home here. I just felt like everything seemed so much clearer to me, my history. And from then on, I just made it my mission to learn as much as I can and try and put Cambodia on the map by making these YouTube videos.
Has part of your experience since you've come back involved eating a water snake?
Remember those pesky water snakes?
Ow, ow, ow.
The ones that attempted to assassinate Savvy? Well, here's how they cook them up. First, exact revenge, swiftly and humanely. The snakes plunge into hot water before shedding their skins one last time. Meanwhile, the seasoning, a mix of palm sugar, salt, MSG, chicken bouillon, garlic, and a hefty dose of chilies. Marinate the snakes. Skewer them up and toss them on the grill over a blazing fire until they cook through.
Guys, I gotta say, this looks amazing. Well done.
Joining us for our Khmer countryside meal, the Queen of Prahok and her husband.
Earlier today, you were bitten by the water snake.
Yeah.
Look, bandages on your hands. Now, you have the ultimate revenge.
That's right.
But before that, right here, a Prahok goop.
They call it Prahok chow.
What's that mean?
Raw.
Ooh. This is probably gonna be another level of intensity that we haven't experienced so far today.
Raw Prahok gets chopped. Add into the mix lemongrass and chop that too. Then chilies, garlic, and sugar all chopped together. Add peanuts if you'd like, and chop even more. Finally, add lime juice, then serve with veggies and rice.
Do you want some? I like it, wow.
She said it smells delicious.
Should have swept away.
You typically dip like this.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna take, I don't like cucumber, so I'm gonna take a carrot, get a little bit on there.
Here.
Cheers.
Similar flavor profile, but with that little addition of sourness.
Yeah, it reminds me of in Vietnam they eat fermented shrimp, and it's purple and it smells like athlete's foot, and it's brutal, but then you eat it and then you wash it down with some herbs and you freshen your mouth and then you want to go back for more. And that's what this is like. And I think today has been a big education for me when it comes to this mysterious and controversial food, because it would be easy to look at the maggots crawling on it and to judge it prematurely. The truth is, this is not really as much of a food as it is kind of a seasoning, a huge potent flavor provider that's meant to be mixed with other foods.
What do you think, this compared to the grilled Prahok?
Oh man, it's tough. It's like asking me to choose between my two children. How could I ever do it? Right here, the water snake.
That's the one that bit me.
Who's biting who, bitch?
That's right.
The preparation's interesting. They put it on a skewer. I love the shape of it. The trouble though is that the snake is so small that it has a lot of bones and a lot of ribs. So you have to go from the top and heal the tenderloin. Cheers. Oh, that's pretty good.
It's kind of chewy.
Smoky.
Salty. And this is actually something that you would typically eat with a beer.
Absolutely. They put a nice, sweet, salty marinade on it. It's a little bit spicy. This is like some of the best snake I've ever had. I'm telling you, the countryside cooking in Cambodia is like next level. People really know how to work with simple and frankly exotic, slightly strange food like this. Tastes dang good, dude. I ate my whole snake. You know, I'm curious. Life here is very different than other parts of Cambodia, especially with the water situation. Right now, the water is very low. Boats can still get through, but just a couple at a time. In the rainy season, the water's coming way up. In general, living here in this riverside village, what are the biggest challenges in your daily life?
So when the water rises, it just makes doing everything a lot more difficult. You can imagine that you don't have any dry land to be on, and just moving things around is just much more difficult.
Do you have to take a boat to get around from your house?
They actually do.
Because there's a load of motorbikes around here too, so where do the motorbikes go during the rainy season?
Yeah, they have to send it to high ground and just keep it in their garage. So about 5 months out of the year.
Wow. There's a lot of people that live in this village, up and down the riverbank. What is the idea of success for people here?
He's just saying that some people, they want to do everything they can to get out of here, to look for a different life.
For you, what does a good day look like?
She said it's not about the money or the success, it's about the family. As long as her family is happy, that's a good day for her.
That's beautiful. Because no matter how ambitious you are or what you're chasing, that's really all that matters in the end.
Next, my team and I have traveled all the way here to a remote farm in Cambodia just to witness this country's shocking alternative animal agriculture.
This is a giant bamboo rat, and soon you'll learn how rat farms like these could potentially save the world.
But first, we're starting with a bizarre delicacy known as brain soup, and the brains are the least weird thing about it.
In the Philippines, they call it balut, but these can be found in many different parts of Asia. What do they call it here?
Bông tia con.
I'm gonna stick with balut.
The pig brain is seasoned with black pepper and a secret vegetable broth, then steamed for several minutes.
You spend a lot of time in Cambodia.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a breakfast like this?
Never.
Next, needle mushrooms are added to bring a crunchy texture to the dish, also softening the blow for the next exotic addition, a fertilized, half-developed duck embryo.
How it works is they let the egg develop for some period of time. Sometimes they'll let it get really formed, where it's basically about a day from kicking through that shell and starting its life.
Savory.
Nice little salty broth.
Good in the morning.
But I guess we should get to the real deal though.
Yes, it's apparently supposed to make you smarter because you know pigs are pretty smart, right?
Pigs are super smart.
If you eat pig brain, you're gonna be as smart as a pig someday.
Okay, let's go for it.
Interesting texture, very mushy.
I like the contrast of the very creamy brain with these nice kind of crunchy mushrooms. But then we also have this. This is very developed. I see a head, a neck, a vertebrae, some feet and feathers. Let's try it
Ready?
out. My face doesn't show it, but I like it.
It's good.
This was the perfect appetizer for the food we're going to be trying today. Because today we're going after alternative meats. Meats that people don't typically consider to be part of their normal daily diet. You know, everybody eats beef, chicken, but what about a duck fetus? What about rats from a rat farm?
It's not typical.
That's not typical at all. So later in this video, we're going to be going to a rat farm to see how the rats are raised and how they taste. But first, sun-dried frogs.
That's right.
This is going to be a nice little appetizer for us because soon we're headed to a frog farm where they have frogs about 10 times this size.
Typically, the frogs are gutted, then marinated with a mixture of fish sauce, soy sauce, sugar, MSG, chili, and garlic before sun-drying for 2 days. Then they're plopped in the fryer.
When you drive around here, especially in the countryside, you'll see vendors selling sun-dried frogs. It's not always the most appetizing. They're kind of mummified and stuck in some mid-jump position. But here, the way they've kind of spiced it up and given some life back to it, looking very nice. Oh, it tastes quite delicious.
Kind of reminds me of Jack Link's beef jerky a little bit, the teriyaki flavor.
True. If you gave this to someone, they would not identify it as frog.
I could see myself packing a bunch of these and going for a hike and breaking them out and eating them like beef jerky.
I think this is a good sign because from here we're headed to a frog farm where we are going to have a multitude of frog dishes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Not only will I be trying frog meat at a frog farm, but shockingly, our countryside chefs will make a dish that includes frog eggs.
I was completely unaware that we were going to be eating frog eggs today.
But first, an awesome amphibian appetizer shared with the farm owner, Som Hang.
This is quite the welcome meal right here. Looking very nice.
But
Yes, he said.
yes.
I'm told it's a stuffed frog, but then it looks like just a torso. Where'd the legs go?
Kroeung. It's the body.
They stuffed it back into its body?
Yes.
Holy cow, talk about shoving your foot up your ass.
To prepare this dish, the frog feet are removed, and the thighs are separated from the body. These thighs, including the bones, are then finely minced and combined with minced pork. Next, a traditional Khmer herbal paste known as Kroeung, glass noodles, and roasted peanuts. The ingredients are thoroughly pounded using a mortar and pestle. This blend is then used to stuff into the frog's torso before making its way to the grilling station.
This is a very popular Cambodian dish, very quintessential, and Cambodian people love frogs. At every restaurant you go to, you'll see stuffed frogs on the menu.
Oh my God. I gotta say, I'm pretty conflicted.
Really?
Because this was like a big, beautiful bite. You know, it almost looks like some glass noodles with meat. But then when you bite down, you will quickly notice that there are many, many sharp bones inside.
You just want to chomp down and chew really good.
What I usually like about protein is when you have like a big old turkey drumstick or even a chicken drumstick. That doesn't happen here. All that being said, the skin on the very outside of the torso, that's really nice.
The Kroeung is what gives it that sort of scent.
Totally.
Almost like a lemongrassy floral scent.
The Kroeung has been the theme of this trip so far. It is like the heart of seasoning or adding flavor to Cambodian food. You own a frog farm. This should be sacrilegious. I mean, you can't get high on your own supply. So how often are you actually eating frogs?
So he said that because he raises frogs, he actually doesn't eat it much.
Previously a construction worker, Som Han was inspired by success stories in the frog farming industry. Then he decided to start his own.
I kind of want to get into the process, and I also want to learn the reason that you're doing this, why you want to have the farm, but also why people in Cambodia want the frog meat.
Each pen houses frogs at different life stages. Frog life begins when the female lays eggs and the male fertilizes them. Som Han separates the resulting eggs from the adult frogs, and in just a few days, tadpoles emerge.
After 30 days, they lose their tail and they turn into little frogs, and then they move them to the next pen.
For 3 months, they're nourished with a diet of rice and egg yolks until they reach market size.
He started with about 30 pairs. Now he has over 1,000 pairs.
Then males and females are placed in separate pens, marking the start of a new life cycle.
These are the males. Let's pick one up so people can see it. Okay. All right, wow. Take a look at this guy. Huge. He weighs over a pound, I assume.
The most profitable aspect of this business is selling pairs of frogs to other farmers for breeding purposes.
What is the difference between an eating frog and a breeding frog?
It's not much difference. It's just some you keep longer so that you can sell as breeders and others you eat. You get about $3 for a kilo of frogs versus pigs, you get about $1.50.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. So perhaps this will be a trend that continues into the future. You know, Greta Thunberg, she's out there. She's upset cattle are releasing flatulence, but frogs don't fart, I don't think.
No, I don't see any bubbles.
And so perhaps this could be a future meat source for the world.
We could be having frog barbecues instead of pig barbecues.
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
Together.
If you thought these male frogs were big,
He's picked it up.
wait until you see the ladies.
Oh, this one looks huge.
Often almost double the weight of the males.
Oh, whoa. It's very slimy.
With some tipping the scales at as much as 3 pounds. But these beastly beauties reach peak mass when they're carrying eggs.
Are these giant females being sold for food?
They will buy them to eat them, but typically they won't because they're so expensive. 4 times as much.
Because you and I are going to be eating some females in a giant frog stew.
I've never had a pregnant frog.
Yeah, and I don't know, are they all pregnant? I don't want people online to judge me.
Yeah, they're all pregnant. They're all pregnant.
For this recipe, certain parts of the frog like the head, skin, and guts are set aside, leaving the body, legs, intestines, and another soon-to-be revealed part for cooking. Begin by placing garlic, galangal, kaffir lime leaves, and lemongrass into a pot. Season with salt, chicken bouillon, fish sauce, and sugar. Then add the frog pieces and boil. For the final flourish, stir in pickled lime, onion, some chilies, and culantro to enhance the flavors.
This is more what I imagined when I thought eating frog in Cambodia. Big old chunks of hip, quadricep, calves, forearms, some biceps, and then of course there's also some skin. Wait, is that skin? Oh, that's egg?
That's the egg.
Holy shit. This is epic. This is wild. One frog has about how many eggs, you think?
Maybe 10,000.
You speak English this whole time? I was talking so much shit behind his back.
Joining us, friend and fellow frog farmer, Chia Chanda.
Oh, wow. I feel like this frog got a Brazilian butt lift. That's satisfying. Big, meaty, fleshy, soft, succulent.
Tastes like chicken.
I think it's something between chicken and fish. It's got like that bold, thick meatiness of chicken without all that flakiness of fish.
And the broth here is what really shines. Because of the pickled limes, gives it a nice sour punch.
Oh, that's a great flavor. I always say for people who are trying to be a little bit more adventurous with their palate, I mean, this is like a 1 out of 10 on the craziness scale. That being said, this right here, I have no idea about. These would have been laid shortly, and soon those would have turned into tadpoles. Have you eaten this before? Bah, have you eaten this before? No, he's just saying what he's this guy doesn't know English. Does he know what I'm saying?
No.
I knew it! Very fatty, kind of sticky, not a lot of flavor. I thought it would be more swampy or something.
It has a weird texture, slightly mushy.
Sticky and fatty, but mainly it's absorbed the delicious flavors of the broth.
It's really good, actually.
I think it's pretty tasty. I like it. How much to open a frog farm? I think I'm in. Do you think it takes less energy to raise a frog than to raise a cow?
Most definitely.
Okay, I think this is a groundbreaking discovery. We have one guy in Cambodia who says it takes less energy to raise a frog than to raise a cow. For me, that's good enough.
Me too.
But that's frogs, and not everybody wants to eat frogs.
No.
There's another alternative. Rats.
When you hear the word rat, the words food or dinner are unlikely to follow. These creatures are associated with city streets, sewers, and perhaps a plague or two. But what if rats were raised in conditions akin to cattle, fed on a select diet similar to that of pigs or chickens? The result would be exactly what you see here. Across various parts of Asia, rats aren't just seen as a survival food, but as a genuine delicacy. To learn more, we've come to a countryside rat farm in Battambang.
Could you go get your fattest rats?
Where this farmer is raising over 1,000 rats under careful, controlled conditions.
Oh my God, that is wild.
Mui Chalmert has been involved in rat farming for over a decade.
I thought New York City rats were like the biggest of the big because I assumed they did steroids in the sewer. But this rat, it's big, it's bulky, it has large drooping balls.
They call it Kroeung, which is a generic term for rat.
He was first inspired and intrigued by the rat meat he tried in Thailand while spending time there as a construction worker.
You can pet it, but just stay away from its mouth.
How heavy do you think this rat is?
1.5 kilos.
A 3-pound rat. This rat probably has an eating disorder.
Most of his customers are either rat farmers, food vendors, or people who happen to catch his flashy rat billboard as they drive by.
What is the process of raising the rat from a little baby rat to a monster like this?
They set up the areas for the rats to do their thing.
Intercourse.
After about 25 days or so, they have their babies, and then in about 3 months, they get to about this size, and that's when they can sell them. And they feed them a combination of corn, rice stalk, pig feed,
Old pizza crust.
anything that's available.
However, if you thought these rats were big, wait till you see what else he has in store.
He grabs it by the tail. It looks ridiculous. It's so huge.
This is a bamboo rat, typically found in self-dug burrows near bamboo thickets.
Can I hold it?
Bamboo rats need only 3 months to reach their adult size, breaking the scales at 6 pounds.
Earlier he told me if it's gonna bite you, point its face towards the ground.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do I know if it's gonna bite me?
You say when it opens its mouth.
Oh, okay, which I cannot see from this angle. I'm guessing you can sell the bamboo rats for a lot more money, right?
Yeah.
Why not just raise these giant bamboo rats?
These are more expensive, and most people won't buy it.
Too expensive.
Too expensive, right.
For the average market. We are sadly not gonna be eating one of these today. I've had this in the past. I've had it in a hot pot. I think I even had something like this in Nigeria. But today, I want to focus on that common rat. You ready?
I'm ready.
To prepare the rat, the farmer first employs a unique method to remove the fur, using hot wax in lieu of hot water. The wax isn't cheap, but the results are impressive. Every last hair is removed, which is important since we'll soon be eating the prized rat skin. Think of it like a mini rotisserie pig.
Is that a common technique employed?
He learned it on YouTube.
No way.
After waxing, the rat is cleaned and its appendages and innards are removed. Now they're ready for marination. The marination is a blend of crushed pepper, shallots, garlic, MSG, chicken bouillon, palm sugar, Chinese black bean sauce, and oyster sauce, all thoroughly mixed before being applied to the rats. From here, the rats will be cooked 2 ways. Course 1, roasted rats, secured inside a roasting net, then placed inside a sweltering clay pot over charcoal for hours until the fat renders down and the delectable rat meat becomes juicy.
A little story, some history.
It smells like chicken thigh meat, a bit fatty and freshly roasted. Can I just grab it by the leg?
Sure.
Or you can grab it by the tail, which is stuck to its body.
Doesn't care what people think.
Thin pig skin on the back. It does look like crispy cracklings.
Wow. This one is kind of juicy.
That's ridiculously good.
It's actually really good.
It's very fatty. It tastes like it's almost been caramelized by roasting for so long. And then here we have the actual back straps, the tenderloin. Oh yeah, it's slightly dry, but with like a slick of oil on the outside. Let me hit it with this country sauce.
That is a ripe tamarind paste with chili peppers and vinegar.
That's good. I almost can't believe it's rat. It's so tender, it's like falling off the bone. I mean, this goes beyond like survival food. If I lived in the country, I'd be like, oh my God, is it rat night tonight, please?
Especially in Battambang, it's a special treat to have rat. Even kids love it.
I guess the reason people get disgusted in the US is because their interactions with rats are in the city, they eat trash, and they're scurrying around in dirty areas. But I guess growing up, I had pet rats for a short period of time, so I thought they were cute. And coming to the countryside, it just made sense that it's not like a dirty, repulsive animal. Especially here, it's farm raised, and the way he's roasted it with time, care, and precision, it's good.
It's really transformed it into something that you wouldn't believe.
So that was our roasted rat. Now we're gonna try.
For course 2, grilled rats. Each rat is clamped between 2 wooden stakes, then grilled over charcoal, resulting in crispy skin imbued with charred flavors.
I'm gonna peel these wood skewers or clamps off of here. I mean, the skin is so fatty, it's literally sticking to the skewers, just like pork skin would. The tail.
You can eat it.
That's a bit much. Really? He eats the tail?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very gelatinous.
A lot of bones. The skin just peels right off. I mean, this is like 5-star countryside cooking right here. It's just dripping
with fat, yeah.
In oily goodness. I can't believe it. Bro.
Wow.
World-class rat.
That's freaking good.
It's almost like too much fat. It is so juicy and fatty. So probably I do prefer the roasted one a bit more.
Right, you're running out a lot more of that fat.
But with both, I literally cannot believe my taste buds right now. I feel like I'm being deceived.
I am very surprised. I've eaten a lot of rat, but mostly field rats from the countryside, but they're nowhere near as fatty and as juicy as this.
Yeah, they're basically homeless rats compared to these.
Exactly.
the beginning of this episode, I was speaking on how rat farms could potentially save the world. There's a big problem out there, climate change. People are upset about cows. They have flatulence, and somehow that's making the earth hot. And so what some people think we should do is eat less cows or eat less meat in general. But I say rats could save the world because rats are much more efficient as a means of producing meat or protein for people. My question to you, sir, is do you think it is a lot more efficient regarding resources to raise a rat for meat than to raise a cow?
So Moiran actually used to raise cows. He said that raising cows requires a lot more effort, a lot more time. They create a lot of bio-waste. The difference is that rats breed very fast. It takes up a lot less room, and it's a lot more efficient to raise rats.
Here's the problem. My American brothers and sisters are, I hate to say this, they're disgusted by rat meat. They find it very off-putting. And so right now you had the chance to speak directly to my audience and tell them why they shouldn't be revolted by rat meat.
If you raise the rats properly, you don't going out and catching rats somewhere, you don't know where it's coming from, so you don't have to worry because this is meat just like any other meat. It's healthy just as if you were raising pigs. And plus it's delicious. They eat natural food source, eat corn, rice, that is legit, so you don't have to be worried about it.
Try rat.
And you typically eat rat with beer.
Cambodian beer.
I win.
What'd you win? A hangover?
A can. Let me see yours. You won too.
We won an extra can of beer?
We won a free can.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Oh, we should drink tonight.
Next, we're going to coastal province of Khmer, taking on this country's shockingly affordable seafood.
Here, in order to hire a chef, it costs only $1.
But we'll also try seafood prepared by Khmer's most expensive chef.
I'm not sure that they can do 100 times better than what we see here.
Our mission begins with a quick breakfast in the seaside crab market, where a local vendor is making up some fish pancakes. First, the meticulous task of deboning these tiny fish. And if you're gonna live in Khmer, then seafood handling skills like these are a must.
So Khmer was actually back in the early 20th century, a place where the French elites and the Cambodian elites would actually come and vacation here because of the beautiful pristine beaches. So after the Khmer Rouge, it sort of died off a bit, but recently it's been gaining popularity again. Here you'll find a lot of local Khmer people coming not only to hang out at the ocean, but also to come to the Khmer crab market, which is renowned for its fresh seafood.
Under the force of steady, sharp blades, the fish fillets turn into a fish paste. Getting ready for some seasoning.
This is actually called Pahat, which means minced fish. They mash it up and they mix it with Kroeung. This is probably one of the most popular fish treats or fish food.
The flavorful fish paste is shaped into flat discs. Then bubbling oil turns them into appealing golden fish cakes.
It's interesting because that fish they start out with, very tiny. And I believe they fry those, but you know, it's gonna be a lot of bones. This is a way to get the most oomph out of such a small, bony fish.
That's right.
The flavor is almost kind of meaty. It's not especially fishy at all.
No, you don't taste the fish at all. It's actually got kind of a slightly sweet and a little bit salty, not too salty, and then a little bit of tiny spice to it.
I like it. Is this something that people would usually snack on alone?
No, typically this is eaten with rice. I wouldn't consider this a breakfast food. No, this is more something you would eat for lunch or dinner.
Savvy is a Khmer American blogger who brings Cambodian cuisine closer to the world through his YouTube channel. By the end of today, he and I will get a taste of Khmer's most valued treasure, the blue crab. And I'm talking a lot of them. But before that, there's much more to discover at the seafood market.
One thing that's really special about this place is the fact that you can buy raw seafood and someone will cook it up for you for very little amounts of money. To get a meal cooked is as cheap as $1. Our next move from here is to tour the market, take a look at what they have to offer, find some raw food, and have it cooked up by a local.
Okay.
Inside the seafood market, you will not find exotic sea creatures imported from all corners of the globe. But what you will find is 100% locally caught, and that's why it's so cheap. The seafood cooking options are many. Stingray, crabs, both big and absolutely tiny, snails and blood cockles, and fish of all shapes and sizes. They also have some of the biggest shrimp I've ever seen.
They're like this big. That part, right there.
Some say they even taste like lobster.
Are these Cambodian shrimp special?
Yes, those come from the deep ocean, so they're much tastier, they're sweeter and more plump and bigger.
These are jumbo tiger prawns, inhabitants of the Indo-Pacific Ocean, known for their potential to grow up to 1 foot in length. Chef P here is about to turn them into a mouth-watering dish, and she'll perform this feat for only $1. Soon we'll discover how she manages to turn a profit at such a remarkably low price.
$1 is not a lot of cash, so how many meals are you able to crank out in one day?
She begins by cleaning the prawns, removing their heads and deveining them too. Next, she expertly stir-fries them with oil and garlic until the meat is perfectly firm. She adds a touch of ground pepper, her secret sauce, and she finishes with a handful of spring onions.
Oh man, this one's so big.
So I typically will rip the head off. There's like a lot of good stuff in there. Oh yeah, all that head fat.
That's pleasurable. The head is full of that head butter. It's a very rich flavor that comes from that melted down tamale, the organs that are inside the head. This one had a fat head. If I was a shrimp, oh man, there'd be a lot of head fat.
Then we move on to the body.
Oh my gosh.
Go.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's nice. You took the whole thing down. It's a 2-biter. If a shrimp requires 2 bites, it's basically a lobster at that point.
It does taste more similar to a lobster than a shrimp as far as the texture goes.
It's got a nice springy texture to it, super meaty. It's absolutely slathered in that sauce. It tastes faintly like a chili sauce mixed with a ketchup.
It's like a Cambodian sriracha. It's a little bit sweeter. It has a mild chili flavor.
But not really spicy.
No, not spicy at all.
It's certainly not a preparation I've seen anywhere else in Southeast Asia. This is very big, very plump, and very satisfying. But our other dish, the oysters. Now, ordinarily, I'm very excited to eat oysters. These I'm not super excited to try. I will tell you why soon. But first, let's talk about prices.
Now you might be wondering how P makes a living if she's selling scrumptious dishes like this for just $1. It all comes down to volume and speed. Customers present the seafood, and she works quickly to crank out a meal. Rinse and repeat up to several dozen times per day.
So each day she makes about 30 meals on average. So each day she makes about $30.
Well, we're about to get one more on the books. Let's do it.
As a side dish, how about something a little more daring?
Oysters are, you have to be careful. They have to be kept at not room temp. Here, they clean it off in warm water, put it in a plastic bag, then let it sit in the ambient heat, which is about 90 degrees. A lot of people eat these raw.
Yes, I had some last night.
It's like playing Russian roulette with your guts.
And you only live once.
And you only die once as well. These have been grilled for safety reasons. And then they put some stuff inside.
Basically, when they grill it, they baste it with KORKO, which is basically fish sauce, vinegar, sugar, garlic, and chili peppers. And then they top it with some fried shallots.
Oh, that sounds great. Should we try some? Cheers.
Right.
It tastes delicious. It's super savory. You can taste that fish sauce immediately, and then you get the amazing smell, texture, and taste of those fried shallots. It's like the best way to spice up your meal.
Honestly, I could eat a whole tray of these myself. Like, I love oysters. For me, it's the KORKO. That combination is very Cambodian. I haven't seen that sauce anywhere else, really. It just reminds me of like Cambodian seafood.
This was a great start to the day, but from here, we're gonna actually try to find the most premium seafood that they have in Kep. This is awesome. There must be 200 crabs in here. And after that, we're gonna find the most expensive chef and compare their food to this. But first, we have to get ourselves some crabs.
Just 100 yards away from the crab market, you'll find the pier from which the market sources most of its seafood.
It's still early enough in the morning that we get to see when the fishermen come in and offload their catch for the day. A lot of that includes fish, but it also includes the specialty of this region. I'm talking about the blue crab.
Each day, a fishing boat may reel in 20 to 30 pounds of blue crab, adding to the collective daily harvest of 5 tons along the entire Cambodian coastline. That is a lot of crab.
Around this time, the fishermen, they go out, they set their traps, and then early in the morning, they'll come back with the traps full of crabs, and then she comes. These ladies act as the salespeople for the wholesalers that come from the market. She works with one specific boat.
She must have a trusted relationship with that boat. They know how much crab they bring. She tries to sell them for the best price, and they kind of work together hand in hand.
That's exactly right.
What's interesting about this place is the fish, the seafood, it all comes in here before it heads to the nearby market, where we already were this morning. So if you take the extra work to come here, you can cut off all the people at the market and get the best dibs on the best quality product. That's what we plan to do today as well. Right here we have the famous Cambodian blue crabs.
These crustaceans are widely found in the Indo-Pacific Ocean, typically feeding on small fish and bivalves. However, in Kep, they feed on a particular seaweed, resulting in a meat so exceptionally sweet that even Phnom Penh residents are willing to journey 3 hours all the way here just for a bite.
What is the most prized part of the crab? What are people after here?
There's actually ones that have eggs that are more delicious.
Oh, I did see some of these had eggs on them. Let go of your friend. He ripped his friend's leg off. That's gonna be a discounted crab. So this is the most prized part of the crab right here. The males have more meat, but only the females have these big dollops of eggs.
That's right.
Ma'am, I would like to buy some of these crabs from you, and then I'm gonna take them to the most expensive chef I can find in Kep, and he's gonna cook them up. But first, we need some seasoning.
Let me guess, Kampot peppercorns.
Bingo.
Blue crab and Kampot pepper are a legendary duo along the southern coast of Cambodia. But the Kampot pepper alone is cherished by chefs all around the world. In fact, it's known as the champagne of pepper. But seriously, it's pepper. Could it really be that good? Well, we're about to find out at a pepper farm known as La Plantation. Here you can see tall pepper vines sprouting fragrant peppercorns. 300 employees. 20,000 pepper vines, 27 tons of annual product. These are the numbers earned by the owners, French-Belgian couple Natalie and Guy, after 13 years of operation.
Then in 2010, we got a PGI. PGI is Protected Geographical Indication. It's like champagne or camembert. You have to prove that it's a unique product that you can recognize among any product. And this marks, a special terroir for Kampot pepper because of the climate, because of the soil, and the sea is quite near from our plantation. When you will taste it, you will recognize that it's quite unique aromas.
Can we try some out?
Yeah.
How's this? Is it ripe enough?
This one is quite young, but taste it, you will see it's full of flavor.
Oh, it has a little bit of a peppery scent, even though it's just in its raw ball form. It's not ground or anything. Let's try it out. Oh, wow. Crunchy. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, because now it's still young, so the kernel inside, it's not totally formed. That's why it's very crunchy.
It tastes a little more grassy, but it's got that background pepper taste.
Wow.
It's kind of powerful. Hits you right back of the tongue.
I don't have the vocabulary for pepper. I'm sure there's like a whole set of vocabulary just for pepper, but I can say that it has, yeah, maybe a bit like that. Like I can taste it up through my nose.
Kind of like that wasabi sting.
Yeah, it goes just beyond like a mouth taste.
Kampot pepper is prized for its complex flavor profile, which features hints of eucalyptus, citrus, and mint. Depending on the processing method, these green peppercorns can become black, white, or red, resulting in distinct tastes and smells.
The question is, which pepper should we be using with the crab?
This one, the one you just tasted, the green one, and this one will pair perfectly with Kep crab.
Let's get that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Chef?
Yes.
Put her there.
Thank you. Welcome to Kep West.
Meet the most expensive chef in Kep. His name is Sok Hang.
We've been out hitting the countryside, getting you some fresh ingredients. Yeah. Take a look at these. We were speaking to the woman who worked at the boat pier.
He says that the ones that have eggs that are more delicious.
These eggs, not good quality. Make it heavy for their seller. They make you upgrade.
They can charge more, They can charge more.
A blue crab in this state, often referred to as a sponge crab, indicates she's nearing the end of pregnancy. By this time, her energy and nutrients have been diverted toward egg production, resulting in meat that is less flavorful and mushier compared to that of non-pregnant crabs.
It's like a sponge. Yeah. It's full of water. Yeah, it increases the mass, and then they can sell this for more money?
Yeah. A meal made of these spongy crabs is destined to be a complete disaster.
Would you give this to your guests here?
No.
No.
Never.
That is, unless you're hiring Kep's most expensive seafood specialist. Then the chances of calamity drop by at least 20%.
To hire you for a day to be a private chef, how much would that cost?
Maybe I charge you $180.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But it's 180 times the price of the other lady.
It's a lot different than $1.
I'm not saying you're not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, let's find out.
Our $180 chef is cooking up 2 dishes, one with the sponge crab and another, better dish with the few good crabs that happen to be tossed in with the lot. Unlike the sponge crab, these female blue crabs still have eggs inside their apron.
How do I know if she has eggs on the inside?
You put it here, a lot of meat.
Then she's full of eggs.
Egg inside.
Their meat is sweeter and more flavorful, thanks to the nutrients stored in the eggs.
The lady by the boat, slightly less sophisticated when it came to judging eggs in general. I feel like I got bamboozled, a little bit taken advantage of, but I was uneducated, and now I'm slightly educated.
Next, our chef coats the crabs with a mixture of pepper, chicken powder, and flour. While the crab takes time absorbing those flavors, he deep fries a colorful batch of bell peppers, onions, and the compote green peppers. The frying wok says goodbye to the veggies and welcomes the floured crabs. Finally, the veggies and crabs are united under a shower of special Kept West sauce. The final touch of basil and coconut milk, and it's good to go.
I'll be coming up hot for a minute.
So I want to build up to the eggs inside the head. Should we start with the leg?
Sonny, I want to show you my technique. I like to pull this guy off. This is what I call the lollipop. This is the best part.
Cheers. Oh my Lord.
That sauce is amazing. It's
That is the best bite, I believe, in the entire crab. That is full of meat, and it's just been kissed by that sauce. The sauce is sticky, it's sweet, it's savory. It has such a wild, complex flavor to it.
I like to take a bite of the pepper before I take my next bite of crab meat.
Okay, yeah.
Give me a mouthful, and I'm going back in.
Man, that's good. The flavor is magnificent. Shamefully, I've never had the guts to just like eat the peppers off the peppercorn. I thought they already did their job of seasoning.
I believe a lot of that strong pepper flavor is lost from the stir frying, so you get a hit of it taking a bite directly.
Here we have the head. This is where we have the internal eggs rather than the external eggs.
So this is about 2-week-old eggs in there.
Cheers.
I can see why these are more desirable.
Very different flavor because those eggs have some oomph. They've got some personality.
A different texture than the meat, obviously.
Fattier texture. It's a bit briny, and it has some real like seafood flavor to it. A slightly fishy taste to it. What do you think about the chef's seasoning?
It's definitely a lot more complex than the $1 chef.
True.
There's a lot more depth.
It didn't come out of just like a generic plastic container that had a bunch of random store-bought sauces mixed together.
Right, it's very reminiscent of Indian curry, maybe because of the coconut milk.
Man, the balance between those fatty, briny eggs and then just the incredible flavors that you've imbued onto the dish. So good.
It's unbelievable.
But then here, you have something you would not typically use or serve to your guests. Here we have the crabs with the eggs on the outside of the body.
The spongy crabs start off with a similar treatment, but they begin to take shape with the chef's special black pepper sauce.
I have the tailbone of the carapace here. It's spongy, it's soft, it's strange. Oh, it's so funky.
Like, you know, like styrofoam.
Yeah, there's a biological kind of a mesh that's holding all the eggs together in one sack. There's no way to even scoop it off. I think you just have to bite it off.
Right?
Huh. So, the texture, terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, but the sauce?
The sauce is so good. Oh my, I feel so mixed. I'm torn, I'm conflicted. The flavor is awesome, but then when you bite into it, it's hard to explain. It's almost like very, very thin bones or like very thin shell pieces that you can feel them kind of crunch as you bite down. It's like this weird mesh netting that holds all the eggs in place, and that's what you're trying to chew on. I think the lady down by the boat, unless she has some kind of special recipe, I believe she may have been incorrect.
Definitely.
I always encourage the supplier, the fisherman, don't take it, let it gone and make the baby away.
And that's something I wanted to ask you about. Clearly, when they're bringing in crabs, and many of them are full of eggs, that cannot be good for the sustainability of this profession. You know, when you have a crab with yellow eggs, that means in 6 to 7 days, they're gonna release. If they're darker, it means maybe within about 24 hours, they're gonna release, and those thousands of eggs have the potential to turn into new crabs that could be caught in the future. Are there any laws against keeping this crab?
But in a lot of cases, I believe people don't follow those laws.
Why do you think Cambodians here are not following these rules?
Some people, they need money, and the buyer like us, we don't know, we're going to release the baby soon, so we still buy. Lucky you bought this, nobody see you. Yeah.
Did we just break the law?
Yeah, apparently.
No, we don't know.
I guess one takeaway I have from this trip is going all around the countryside, there are more and more animals that are reducing in numbers, even tarantulas. The populations of tarantulas are dropping because of overhunting. Well, it's because people, they're not thinking about 5 years from now or 10 years from now. They're thinking about today. What is the best strategy to deal with this?
You need the people that are buying it to stop buying it, and also the government to step in as well. We're hopefully able to educate the younger generation that we need to think about the future because there's a lot more potential. But there won't be any potential if we take all the crabs out of the ocean.
Boom! Guys, that is the end. Our final video here in Cambodia. Before we go, I want to say a huge thank you to this guy for joining me for 3/5 of this journey.
Thank you.
This is Savvy. Savvy you on YouTube. You can follow his journeys here in Cambodia as he explores food and culture and even more. Otherwise, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. Let's go this way. See this? These stairs? These stairs?
Up the stairs?
These stairs, they don't go anywhere.
They don't.
They just go up.
Just up?
And then you fall off.
That's it? Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's
I'm
go.
ready.
You can run. I'll get there eventually.